Hi everyone, welcome back. So today me and Dello are going to run through our training session with you all, and I'll give you a few tips and a few exercises that you can do with your own horses during your training sessions. Right, let's go. Good boy. What a good man. So I always start in walk, and I always like to do lots of walk because I just like to make sure the horse is all fully warmed up. It's the same for us as if we're going for a run. We always do a few stretches and warm up before we get started. So I like to try and start on a nice loose rein as well, because I don't want him to feel like he's stuck. I want him to stretch it all out and just get his body moving. Good boy. What a clever man. So obviously me and Dello are training at novice and elementary. We're competing at novice currently, but some of the exercises are more elementary. So yeah, we just do lots of exercises to strengthen different parts of Dello and different parts of me as well. Good boy. So with the walk, I kind of just go anywhere. I mean, I don't really know half the time. Just do lots of circles, bend, but what I'm trying to do is get his head lower and his rib cage moving with my legs, if that makes sense. Some of the stuff will not make sense that I say today, so please just comment down below if you have any questions. Good boy. So with Dello as well, I have to keep him very interested during the whole session, because he can be quite a nosy boy, and over the side near A there is a big gap where the gate is, and he can sometimes be a bit nosy around that area, so I have to keep his full attention, which can be difficult when you're trying to stretch them and relax them, but that's horses. We're just going to have to work through it. Bit lower. Good boy. So obviously through my training I do like to use my voice quite a lot for Dello. I like to just reassure him and make sure he understands what I'm asking, but then when it comes to a competition I can't use my voice, so I do have to make sure that he knows what I mean by just through my body, but I can back it up with my voice, my verbal aid, if I really need to. Bit lower. Good boy. So I'm just doing a bit of bending. Dello finds bend is not his friend half the time. He finds it very difficult. And he just wants to be a little straight show pony, which is not what we want. So I just like to get him fully bending. Good boy. Concentrate. Good boy. A little bit lower. There, good boy. Good man. So as you all know, Dello is a Spanish, so he's a Spanish pre-fusion, so he does not move like a warm blood. He's a little bit different from a warm blood, so I do have to accept that he does have shorter paces. His neck, he's getting distracted there, his neck is obviously a lot shorter, and like I say, his general paces come up very short, and some judges at competitions will don't mind that, but others want us to lengthen him. Now we do our very best to try and lengthen him, but there's only so much we can do for his breed, you know. I'm not that's his breed, we can't change everything. So yeah, he's good at some things, he's very good at his collection, but he finds like his medium work, especially in the trot, quite difficult sometimes. So that's something we're working on currently, especially for our novice. That is something that is letting us down a little bit recently, but we're working on it. Concentrate. So I'm just doing a bit of leg yield. Dello tends to be, concentrate. Sometimes Dello tends to be a little bit too clever with his leg yields, and he likes to try and lead with his hind, which is incorrect. They should be leading a little bit more with the shoulder more than anything. But he is very good at his leg yield. I just have to make sure that when I ask, I'm very clear about his shoulders going over first before those hind legs. Good boy. Like I say, he is very good at his leg yields. So that's something I try and do a lot, because I think it's a good way of warming them up, getting him stepping under and using himself. Good. Ooh. Ooh. Lower. Good, there. So with Dello into his halt transitions, he likes to kind of come against the hand a little. So it's making it clear to him that during that transition, he needs to remain in his frame. You know, he can't just then wander off with a little eye and be nosy. So I'm currently in the process of teaching him that is what I want. Good. And ooh. Ooh. That was better. Good boy. Little scratch. Good. So it's really important as well when you're training to try and reward the good all the time, because sometimes as riders we always try and correct the bad, but we forget to reward the good, and that is so important, especially if you're trying to teach a younger horse, because that's the way they learn. You know, they want to do right for us and we're asking them to do stuff, and how will they know whether it's right or not if you don't reward it? So just a little scratch, a little good boy, pat, whatever you want to do. Good boy. So normally once I've got him moving now, he's done a little bit of walk, I might just pick up the rein ever so slightly, and I might do a bit of travers, which is quarters in with a little bit of bend. So Dello is very good at his travers. Good. He sometimes struggles to bend throughout those, but that is quite nice there. Good boy. So it's kind of that 3-track. Good. That he's got to get. Good man. The travers is really good, and that is something we're really trying to strengthen up for Dello, because he's a very right bent horse. And we recently have realised that we need to be getting that left bend more. So getting some travers on the right rein and the left rein is really good for just moving those ribs and just suppling all the way through the body. He's working a lot of muscles here. He's really having to think about where he's placing his legs as well, which I also think is a good exercise before we move up into the trot and the canter. Ooh. Good. That was good. A little bit softer, please. Softer. Good. So I can always feel with Dello when he allows something. Sometimes he won't allow it, because sometimes he's a bit of a stubborn Spanish. But most of the time he will give, which is really nice. It shows that he's trusting me to accept that movement. Good boy. I'm sorry about my breathing as well, guys, today. I haven't got a cold, I'm just a bit hay fevery, so especially when we go up the gates, please excuse my breathing. Good. So I'm going to do a bit of travers this way, so I should have been a bit earlier there. I left it a bit late. Good. Bit lower there. Yeah. Good boy. So Dello, as you can tell, is very good at his travers. But if it was something that he struggled with, then what I would do is, to build it up, I would do a few steps and then praise him and then leave it, because if you get a few steps and you're still progressing, then that is more than enough, you know. Good boy. So I'm going to do it once more this rein, and then I think we'll start with our long, low, stretchy trot. Good. Just careful, Dello, make sure your legs at the front are straight. Good. Just those quarters. Good boy. Yeah, good. Well done. Right. Camera lady, we might need a girth check. Concentrating. So I've loosened my rein again, and I'm going to start doing a bit of trot work. So with the trot, I'm really trying to build up on that slow, long and slow trot. And this is really good to engage his core, just trying to get him supple and listening to my body. I think a lot of riders forget that to ride from the body is so important, and to not get too carried away with the hand, because the horses react through our bodies more than anything. So I think the stretchy trot is a really good way. Don't get me wrong, it's difficult. Like some days I think, oh my gosh, this looks horrendous. But it's really good to just stretch him out, and it's a really great way to get him over the back. And then I always find with him, whenever I pick him up after I've done a really good stretch, he's always feeling a little bit more lifted, a little bit more, with me. So what range do you want to start, boy? Should we go on the left? He's like, I hate the left. Okay, so I'm just going to ask quietly. Good boy. Be right. Good if I could get the right diagonal. Good. So straight away, I'm trying to remind him that he's got to slow that trot. Good. And straight there. Slow. And a little bit lower. Good man. A little bit lower. There. So it's almost like I don't want to nag him, but at the same time, you've got to keep reminding them, especially if you've got Dello. Good boy, because Dello forgets. And you might have a mare that might just listen, but Dello likes to forget, nosy. You got the sneezels. So I just have to remind him, but he's doing really well today. That is really nice. Good boy. Also with the stretchy trot, a little tip, I always find really try and breathe, relax through your body, and it should relax theirs a bit more. Ooh. Good man. Good. Lower. He likes to be a bit nosy around here. Lower. Good boy. So with Dello as well, as we get through slowly, as we start to progress through our training session, he sometimes finds an activity quite difficult, and what he'll do, he's quite crafty. He'll spook at something unnecessarily to get out of having to work hard. So we've been trying to find some tricks to stop him from doing that all the time. Good, slow. Good man. Breathe. Bend. Good. Good job. So it really does depend what he feels like on the day, because Dello he's better with the consistency now than he was, but we still don't get 100% consistency. So some days he's amazing. Ooh, good. Other days he's tense and I don't get a lot from him. And that is his breed as well. That is just Dello. And we've learnt that, me and Mum, over the years. But yeah, we found ways to try and break that tension and to try and get the best out of him. And I don't do the same thing every training session. We do different things all the time. Right, boy, now that you've had a little stretch, I'm going to pick up the reins ever so slightly without him getting too tense. And I'm going to do a bit of medium walk. So we've been working on a few walk pirouette steps and a few half pass steps only in the walk. And don't get me wrong, guys, they're not perfect. I'm still learning, and so is he. He's still strengthening. So what you do is you get your travers, and then you half halt and guide the shoulders over. Good. Good boy. And try and keep it. And then all half pass is just continuing guiding those shoulders over with a bit of bend. Good boy. Now go straight. Good. Big pats. That was lovely. And then you can go for trots. Trots. So as you can tell, it still needs strengthening. It still needs a bit more suppleness through there. But he got a few steps. They were accurate steps. And he got what I meant. Good boy. That is lovely. Well done. Also important, when doing lots of lateral work, you've got to change it up. Don't stay on the lateral work that's really difficult for ages, because it can complicate things for you and the horse. So this way's a bit more difficult. So I'm gonna try. Good. Good, that's okay, good boy. Yeah, and then can you keep it a little bit? Oh, good man. Yeah, good boy. So the funny thing is, with Dello, the walk pirouette on that rein is much more difficult, but the half pass, ooh, good boy, the half pass is so much easier. Whereas on this rein, the walk pirouette's more easier, but the half pass is more difficult. Good boy. Good. Concentrate. Good boy. So when I'm getting into trot, I like to do a bit of shouldering, sort of wherever I am. Shouldering and 10-metre circles are personally me and Dello's favourites. It really just concentrates him on the exercise, and he really gets him with me. Good boy. Good. Good boy. Walking. Good. Lower. Turret. Good. Recently I've been really trying to get my transitions a little bit better, because we all do it as riders, we all hate transitions. It makes us and the horses work. So, but they are so important. Ooh, a little bit tense there. Good. Turn up. Good man. They are so important for strengthening. And you know what? Good boy. During a dressage test, there are so many transitions. And if you haven't been training with transitions, good boy, then they're not going to look great, are they? And those are crucial marks when it comes to dressage. Accuracy, obedience, what's the new one? Cooperation, all of those things. And transitions are a great way to test them. Gets a little bit of travers there. As you can see, it's a little bit sticky today. That's okay, good boy, you still got what I meant. Slow, slow. So I'm going to do a bit of leg yield as well. Good, that's nice. And then into a bit of a shoulder in. Good. Just check my mic's still on. So I might do the same thing this way. So I might do a bit of leg yield. It's straight into that little bit of shoulder in. That's okay, that was a bit of shoulder 4, I think. Good, slow. Also, another thing when I'm training, I really try and do centre lines a lot, because you do a centre line when you start a test, and normally half a centre line when you finish, or a full centre line. And I bet some of you are sitting there right now thinking, oh, I forget to do centre lines. And we all do it. Good boy. That's not bad. Good. But centre lines, again, are so important, especially during dressage. Good man. Over. Good. So that's really good for Dello, because normally this rein he will lead with his hind end first, but he's starting to get what I want, which is great. I forgot to do the shoulder in that way. I'll have to do it here. Over. Don't have the mirrors this way. And then shoulder in. Good. Let's just do a bit of shouldering up that next long side. Have a little walk here. Catch your breath. Concentrate. Ooh. Good man. Get that trot. Sorry mate, wrong aid. I just put my leg back for Trevor. Good boy. That's good, that's coming along, good man. Right, let's go for a canter. So with Delo's canter, he has got a lovely canter, super lovely. And as me, I have just got to make sure I sit there lovely and quietly for him and don't play around my hands too much, because, good boy, Delo is very sensitive in the canter, as I've learnt, good boy, over the years. So I try to sit there nice and quietly, don't play around too much, and just try and use my body more than my hands. The hands are there for guidance and for support. The body is the one that's controlling. The body is the one that's working with the horse. So that's definitely something to bear in mind. And it's very difficult, super difficult. Slow. So as you see, I just sort of do a few circles to warm up. Good man. And then just maybe like a diagonal, just to get the feel of that canter, and then I'll go into something a bit more exciting. Slow. Good man. Again, if he gets a little bit quick, I'll throw in a bit of shoulder in. If I think he's getting a bit tense or he's losing concentration, shoulder in. Good boy, it was a nice transition. So really just engaging that core, eyes up, breathing really does help, and just trying to think about the elbows in. That's a massive thing for me. I do have my elbows like this half the time and it's not pretty. Good boy. Another thing I learnt recently is that your jaw, if you relax your jaw, your horse's jaw should be relaxed, because it all comes through the body. And you're probably thinking, what? But it's true. Ooh, slow, good boy. Good. Right, have a little walk, mate. That was good. Good boy. Big pats. So then I'll think of an exercise that I want to do. So now I've felt him, I know how he's feeling today. I think today he's feeling pretty good. I think he's got good bend. I think that he is probably okay to go into some more interesting, fun things today. Don't get distracted. Good boy. Excuse me. Horse is walking past. He's like, oh, good boy. Relax. Good. Good boy. So today I'm thinking I want to practice a few shallow loops in canter. Sometimes they could be a bit off balance, but I feel like he's with me quite nicely today. So I want to try a few of those. I want to try a bit of collection in the canter, and maybe a few push-ons, a few extensions, and then just bringing it back, you know, really working on that seat, and if he's reacting off my seat nicely. Good boy. And in the trot, I might do some mediums today. Do you want to do some mediums? See how we go again. Work in progress. See how they're getting along. Concentrate. Good boy. Well done. So Delo's very difficult when you're just walking round to give them a breather. He's very difficult to keep the attention. So it's kind of like you've still got to ride every step with Delo. Still make sure he's with you. Good boy. Right, mate. Do you want to do some of your canter bits first and then do your trot? So sometimes I find the trot, the canter work before the trot, can really help with... good boy, that was nice. Can really help just empower that trot. He's really loosened up through his body, and it just enables him to use himself a bit more in that trot. Good boy. Again, guys, I'm not an expert, but this is all stuff that I've learned over the years, and what I've learnt riding Delo So I wanted to share it all with you. Good boy. So I'm going to pop him on a 15-metre circle. Here. Good. And if he gets a little tight in the neck, do a little give and retake. So I might give and retake with the outside rein, see if he stays with me. He seems with me there. Get him on this 15. 10. Good boy. And then I might give the inside rein, see if he's with me. He seems pretty with me there. So now I'm going to start asking for a bit of collection. Just sitting up. Good. Just need to get him to see what I mean. Slow. Sitting up. You can turn a bit smaller on your circle. Good boy, concentrate. Really squeeze those legs. Good, and it's difficult. I'm really working on this at the minute. Good. And then normal canter. With me. With me. With me. Thank you. So as you can see there, got a bit distracted. Good boy. So little circle. Really sit up. Ooh. Not quite getting that today, are we? Canter. Good boy. That's okay. So, little circle. That's better, good. Now forward, good. So he got a few steps there. They weren't amazing. I haven't done collection in a while. Something I'm really working on. Good. Yeah, well done. That was good. Don't get tight in that neck though. Slow. Okay, bit of collection. Good, that's very good. That's good, nice. And then a bit of an extension. And then, ooh. Good, that's good. Well done. Right, so we're going to leave it there with that side. Concentrate. Ooh. Have a little walk. Walk. Good man. Pat. And then we'll go straight to the other side. Sorry, I'm out of breath. I don't normally have to talk when I'm doing my stuff. Good. So I like to try and do some walked canters. Again, get some off the leg. Make sure they're thinking all the time. He's very good at walked canters. But if you have a pony that might be a bit more on the lazy side, then walked canters are a great way to just get them moving, you know. Wake them up a bit. Make sure they are ready at all times. And it also says to you whether your walk is good enough. Because if your walk's not good enough, you're not going to get a canter. Good man. So 15 metre circle or 10. I might go a bit smaller today. So suck up my belly, sit up tall, make it super clear, little pulses on the rein. Good, that's okay. Good man. So that was my fault. I didn't put my leg on enough, so he thought trot, which is actually the correct thing. He's thinking the correct way. Okay. Sit up. Good, that's not bad. And then come back. Yeah, good man. You know what, I'm going to leave it there. That was lovely. He really listened to my seat then. So now, we're going to go for a medium. Half halt. And that was lush. Good boy. Big pats. So if you see that canter work, slow. That was a little unbalanced, that's okay though. Good push. that canter work really set him up for that medium, because he was on his hind leg, slow, he was on the hind leg ready to push, which is just fab. Unfortunately, in a dressage competition, you don't always have canter work. Lush. Good man, leave it there. Awesome. You don't always have your canter work before your medium. Your medium might be at the start of the test, and some tests are really mean and don't give you a lot of warning for your medium. So good boy, have the rein for a minute. So yeah, so that exercise is really nice. Bit of collection, making sure he's with me, and then sending him forwards. So you're getting a bit of both, bit of extension and a bit of back on your hind leg kind of thing, you know. Good boy. Right, so I'm going to give him a walk. I did just realise I told you I was going to try and do some shallow loops, but the canter was so lovely in the, you know, the collection part. I'm going to leave that today and do something else. Right. Woo, let's start slowly picking you up. Good man. Right, let's do some counter then. I'll do one on each rein. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make it creative. Instead of just doing a shallow loop and then going to the end and trotting, he's getting better at these canters. So I want to test him today and see how well he's doing with them. So I might try and do a demi vault, back to the track, then a half 20 to the track. So he's not relying on the track, really just check whether they've actually got the support themselves instead of leaning on the fence for support. So do a half 20 to test him, then maybe come across the diagonal again and then carry on in his normal canter. So then he's got to really think about his body weight and, you know, the balance kind of thing when we're going two different ways. Good boy. So the last few canter transitions I did walked canters. So I'm not going to do that again, because otherwise we're just going to get too many walked canters in. It's just not, you know, we don't want to overdo them. Good man. So get that walk. Sometimes after a walk break, he's like, really? Thought we were done. Good man. So I'm going to ask for trot. Good. No, So Hidelo's trying to be clever. He knows we're about to canter. He's been listening to me. He knows that my plan is to do some canter. So he's like, all right, let's go. But he has to wait for me and my command, don't you? That's good. Good boy. Nice. Good job. Just check he's with me. Can give him a little pat. Okay. So I'm going to go half 15 here, half 10 even. This school's dimensions isn't like correct. So sort of a half 20, if you know what I mean. We're not touching the track. Slow. And now change the bend. Make sure you're changing your bends, Dello. And slow. So if you saw there, he found that a little bit difficult. Slow. Ooh, slow. He found that a little bit difficult, swapping through the bends. Good. I think that's down to me as well, making sure that my leg's on, asking for that bend. Okay, half 10, 20, I don't know, 15, who knows. Yeah. Start looking, start bending. I'm just sitting up as tall and as straight as I can to support him. Slowly. Try and ask him to slow. Don't want him rushing through it. Slow. Sit up. A little whirl on my rein if he's not listening to my body as much. Good. And then across. And trot. Lush. Slow. No. Slow. Good. So with Dello as well, he's very difficult. As you can see, he's going a bit quick. So if he's not listening to my body or my breath, I say whoa with the rein and I give. As soon as he's listened to that big whoa, then give, because it shows they've done the right thing. If you just whoa and then hold that whoa, they're just going to get tighter and faster, and it's not teaching them anything, and it's not helping you. The obedience is not the best, so it's just the whoa, whoa, and give. Good. Make it clear when they've done right when you say the whoa. Then for next time, they might know what the whoa means. Slow. Good man. So do you know what? To end today, slow. He's feeling all spicy now. He's like, ooh. To end today, I'm going to end with a little bit of stretch, but a slow stretch. So if you saw, I started in the stretch. I monitored how he was in the stretch and how slow he was. And then now, after I finished all my work, I'm going to do the stretch again and monitor it again. Good. Slower. Slow. Ooh. Bit of bend here, okay? Bend. See, now he's finding that difficult and he's gone, I'm just going to have a little spook over there. He's crafty, but that is nice there. That is lovely. So good man. Come around here again for me. Concentrate, leg on. Good, that was lovely. Okay, you can have a walk and see. Let's get that little bit more stretch, that slow trot. Ooh, ooh. Good. And a pat. Good boy. That was really good. That was good for his counter-canter. I think it could have been a little bit more balanced today. But for overall, I haven't done counter-canter for a little while. So I think that was pretty good. Good boy. Really good session today. He's worked on a few different bits. And I've done some more pace work today, some more of the tempo work, but there are so many different things that we do. Like, this is not what we just do. We do like so many different exercises. We love to do a bit of pole work. We really enjoy doing a bit of grid work recently, like a little bit of jumping, just for a bit of fun. Good boy. And you know what? We don't always ride. Training doesn't always mean you're riding. We also do, Mum does a lot of in-hand work with Dello, and he's learning loads from that. And we're also doing lots of, like, you know, where I try and do some riders alignment on him. I do some of those stirrups. There's like endless things you can do to improve certain muscles and overall improve your horse. Good boy. Those mediums today were so nice. Those trot mediums were really uphill. They were nice and forwards. They were really reaching. So I was really happy with those. So that was probably my highlight of my session. I do always like to try and pick out a highlight or something that went really well, because it overall then makes you feel better, especially if you've had a session where you might have thought it was awful, or it just didn't go to plan, or your plans went out the window and you felt like you weren't riding properly. I've definitely had sessions like that, but you just kind of have to put it behind you and go for the next session and don't dwell on it, because it does nothing. It does nothing, does it, boy? And our sessions are never perfect at all. Like, we have sessions where I'm just like, Mum, help me. And I'm just thinking, what am I doing? I'm back to square one. But honestly, you're not. It's the whole part of the journey. And I've learnt so much from him, just riding him and having fun on him. He's taught me loads about dressage and Spanish horses and all sorts. So don't give up, keep training. I really hope you all found these bits, seeing our training session, you might have got a few ideas or any tips, and let me know if you want to see any other videos like this. I can do some littler videos on specific exercises or anything like that. I'm more than happy to do that. But yeah, good boy. I'm just going to walk him off a bit more, and then I think we'll take him back down to stable so he can have his food. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Good boy.